Imagine a perfect world where you can build a restaurant, open the doors, and make loads of money. Unfortunately, those days are over. It takes great leadership, hard work, and long hours to operate a successful restaurant. Together, we can make it happen. This is Restauranttopia.
Welcome back to Restauranttopia. We got some great content here for everybody. It's really interesting and near and dear to my heart is LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day. I think it's a great resource. It's a social network that isn't kind of polluted by their own algorithm. It's still in its purest form. Now that will change, but we're going to talk about how you can use LinkedIn for your restaurant and what's the best way to maximize the effectiveness of LinkedIn marketing. Today I got with me Anthony Hamilton.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
Hey, Anthony. And then David Ross.
What is going on, people?
All right, let's get started.
So Brian, when I look at this topic right off the rip, obviously this is business-centric LinkedIn, but when you're in a restaurant, I don't know for some reason why the restaurant industry, like it doesn't resonate initially when you think about this, but as we go down through, I think everybody's going to realize where we're going with why you should be doing LinkedIn. But I think a typical restaurant or chef or restaurant owner is probably like you're gonna like hang with us on this because I had a hard time in the beginning going, what would a restaurant do on LinkedIn?
Great point. What I think people miss is LinkedIn is a B2B platform, and they're thinking the only place I want to go is B2C, when the Facebooks, the Instagrams, because I'm trying to go directly to my consumer. But you got to step back and look at who are my consumers. They are business owners, they're employees of different companies, and then what else can I use, which we'll talk about here, what else can I use LinkedIn for? And there's so many mechanisms here that we can really maximize the effectiveness of LinkedIn. If it's nothing more than getting awareness of your restaurant to local business people, I think you have a huge win here, but there's so many more levels to this that you'll hear today and be able to implement really easily. When I say it's easy, I do it, and it's not difficult at all. So what are some of the reasons you want to get serious about LinkedIn?
I think primarily when, from a business standpoint, when people are checking out LinkedIn to see what you're all about. You know what I mean? So just like, on your business end, people want to go to your website, or they want to go to Facebook and make sure you got a profile and all those things. It's kind of like an entry fee, into like an awareness of being out there. I think, LinkedIn's big for that, especially for personal brands. So if you're a chef or a business owner and you want to create a personal brand in order to push your restaurant, people are going to check out LinkedIn. If somebody's coming in to meet you for an opportunity or an investor or whatever it is to try to even to come in to sell you a product, potentially going to go to LinkedIn and look you up to see what you're about.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah, please.
So maybe I'm unique in this, but I always have apprehension about looking at people's profiles in LinkedIn. And as you guys know, I've been on LinkedIn for a while, but now I'm just like starting to use it upon your recommendation, honestly. And I love it. But I hate that people can see that I look at their profile. Like, it takes the creeping out of creeping, right? So how do you guys feel about that? Do you not care? Do you just like look at people anyway and it doesn't matter? Or are you apprehensive about it? Because for me, I get nervous about it. And maybe that's my anxiety towards social media in general.
Well, and let's explain that, because some people may not understand that aspect of LinkedIn. Anybody that's familiar with Facebook, Instagram, all those things, like, you can look people up and do things and navigate without anybody really knowing you're doing it. But on LinkedIn, what they do is it will actually tell you people that have viewed your profile. And there's actually a KPI on there of your profile views, and it's something that as you're building your reputation and your content, like I look at that, it's got like a last 90 days, how many people viewed your profile. Like I look at that as like an interest level in what I'm putting out there. So I look at it, and when it's down or up, like I know why it's down or up. Did I miss a couple days posting? Did I not, is my content not resonating? Like whatever it is, like I look at that aspect of it. So just so everybody understands on LinkedIn, like you actually see who viewed your profile.
I believe that there's ways to turn that off.
Well, and there's some premium versions that'll allow you to, primarily for recruiters or things like that want to go in and just kind of rifle around and look at people without being noticed.
I expect, and I think that maybe that's the way the algorithm and LinkedIn has trained me up, is if I'm going to meet with somebody, that they've done some research and they looked me up on LinkedIn.
Now, I noticed that's getting more common, and I will attest to my own question is that I see people are a little more unabashed about just, who cares? Like, yeah, I'm talking to you. I looked at your profile. For some reason, I feel it's more customary not to look at people's profiles, and I don't know why that is. It seems weird, but
I think that's your own idiosyncrasies.
Thank you.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
It's fine if you do.
No, I think that is. the person is putting their profile out there for
Sure.
you to look at it. They
Yeah.
want you to look at it. So I don't think that there's anything holding back. Now, if you Google image them, that's a little weird. Or if you search them some other way. But on LinkedIn, if it's a business meeting, it is completely normal.
Yeah, and I think once you start, like the way I look at it, once I started looking at the views I was getting based on it and using it as a regulator, like an interest level in what I'm putting out there, I think you lose that part of it where you're not, because you've got an interest in whatever this person's doing. If you understand the way they're going to perceive you looking at their profile, I think that'll change your thought process on it.
Gotcha. And maybe as I get more acclimated to it, like I said, I haven't been very active up until like maybe the last 3 weeks to a month. I love it though. I'm so happy we're talking about this today.
It helps you nurture and generate leads and people that you want to get in contact with. It helps you reach out beyond your network. I'm going to go into this in a little more detail, but you have a great conference room, or you have a great party center, or you have a great meeting room for private lunches. This is something that you're able to put this out to an audience that is actively looking for this stuff, one, but two, also has the budget. They're using a corporate credit card. They're using, the house's money, so to speak, versus their own. So, are they taking prospects? And, again, COVID's not going to last forever. When people go back out to, dinners and trade shows and those sorts of things, where the $30 bottle of wine goes away and it's, we're busting out the $150 bottle of wine, or whatever the corporate policy is on the maximum amount of money I can spend on a bottle of wine.
Yeah, and I think that there's something that, catering. Look at business catering, or business like actually going into the businesses and dropping off food and doing things like that. Like, that's something that right now I think is appropriate, because you don't have to worry about if you've got a space, a back room that can hold 50 people, like you may not be getting that business now, but you could drop off barbecue for lunch.
And it's a wealth of information. If you're intellectually curious, there's so much knowledge out there to your field. Whether it's the back of house, front of house, whatever aspect of the restaurant business that you're looking for, it's there for you. And if you're trying to do research, whether it's point of sale systems or something like that, you can search and find an expert very, very quickly.
So let's talk about, let's read everybody's mind that's listening to us right now. What are the reasons, what are the excuses and the things that they're thinking about right now? Why would they not do this? Why would they not be getting on LinkedIn?
Anthony, I gotta throw the ball to you. And I'll give you a little backstory for the audience. Like, Anthony was very hesitant, to say the least, to really get on LinkedIn. He's like, I still have my Friendster account, and I'm not ready to switch.
Well, MySpace allowed me to put music in the background, and I can't do it at LinkedIn. It kind of pisses me off. No, anyway, what Brian's alluding to is I've always been apprehensive on social media, which is odd because I'm probably the opposite of an introvert, if you've ever seen one. But I hate social media. I hate putting myself out there for some reason and waiting on results. Like, I like communicating openly with individuals. LinkedIn's kind of changing that for me. Now, sure, I have a Facebook account and an Instagram account. I just never use them. In fact, my last post on Instagram was 2014. So I've always been apprehensive. I'm scared. I don't have the time, and I don't want to invest it. I don't want to do it half-assed, but I keep going back to the anxiety. I just don't want to put myself out there. I guess one thing that LinkedIn's taught me is it's very rewarding, very fruitful. There's, to you guys' point, the 5-minute mentorship I received on LinkedIn is pretty outstanding. But I kind of forget where we were going with this. We were talking about why people don't want to get on LinkedIn, right?
Correct.
So excuses. For me, excuses. Well, for me, it was anxiety and time. Those are my two big excuses. Like, I just don't feel comfortable with it.
I'll throw a couple out there that I hear all the time. I don't have the money. I'm afraid, and I hate social media, and I don't know how. So I think we're going to debunk all of these really, really quickly. As far as I don't have the money, it doesn't cost anything. I don't know how. We're going to teach you right now how. It's so quick. I'm afraid and hate social media. You just got to put your toe in the water and make an effort to consistently post, like, and comment on other people's stuff, and you'll get in the community. You'll get in the conversation, and I think that's really helpful. That's
exactly what I'm going through right now, and be patient because it takes a while. So the first week or so, I'd like test the waters, comment, like, okay, put out an article and see what happens. Like, oh God. But after now, again, a month and a half, I feel comfortable. Like, I can't wait to go post. I can't wait to, with my coffee and Bill Murphy and LinkedIn in the morning is like my first half hour every day now. It's amazing.
And you don't know what will resonate. Like, I've spent 5 minutes on a post and it gets 2,000 likes. And I've spent a half hour on a post, and it's just my mom and my wife who are the ones that liked it, and it's like, oh, that was hurtful.
No, and that's something that and that's definitely something that once you get going on it, can make you stop, because you have to have long game patience. Even though only 2 people liked it, like that's not necessarily who saw it and who may take an action against it. You know what I mean? So if you're out there building your brand and all of a sudden you're offering 10% off your first catering order, drop off catering order, you know what I mean? Like just because 2 people liked it doesn't mean it didn't the person that saw it is going to take action on it didn't hit the like. You know what I mean? So it's what you're, there's a lot of other things to consider.
So we may put too much emphasis on the likes and shares and things like that.
Absolutely.
I think we do. And the benefit of LinkedIn versus other platforms is you'll do that same post of, again, maybe not 10% off your catering order or something like that. It could be anything. But the algorithm is so finely tuned in Facebook that 8 people will see that because they want you to boost that post and to pay. Now, everyone in your network, it will come up in their feed when you post that in LinkedIn. Now, the algorithm might change, but as of right now, it doesn't.
Oh, it's going to change. They're going to monetize it. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably changing as we're recording this, but get on there now, because right now it is, without a doubt, the most organic reach that you're going to find in social media.
It reminds me of Facebook in 2010. It's how it feels.
Absolutely.
It's a very positive playground out there. But the hopefully you're wrong, Dave. Hopefully you're wrong, because I think the purity of LinkedIn is one of those amazing things where it's this wonderfully positive, supportive playground for me.
You're living in a fantasy world. Yeah. They're running a business.
Yeah. It's like how many free meals did you like to give away?
Yeah, that's fair. So they do monetize the premium membership, so you don't think that's enough to get them by?
No.
Now, the only good thing is that Microsoft owns it.
Yeah, they're not hurting for money.
They're not hurting for money, and 2, they've messed up a lot of stuff, so they don't have like the Mark Zuckerberg, like we're going to monetize every second of the person's time. And, so I think you do have the benefit of that.
Cool.
Not for long. Start today.
I hate your doomsday theories, sir.
All right, so let's get into, and some of these are my pet peeves, so if I get angry or agitated, like forgive me, but LinkedIn do's and don'ts. This is to the answer to I don't know how to do LinkedIn. I don't know how. I'm going to give you the quick, easy to execute plan here, just like a recipe. How to make whipped cream. It's so easy here. We're going to make this easy to digest. All right, so
that might be a better metaphor than you think it is, just so you know. Let's explain why in a couple of minutes. Go ahead.
It was the first thing that came to my head. I don't know.
Well, it's spot on.
Okay.
I was going to say chicken cacciatore for some reason.
Dave's like, it's lunchtime.
Here we go. The do's. What do you guys think is, if you're new to LinkedIn, if you've been on it for 10 years, what's the do? What do you absolutely need to do?
Have a plan and stick to it, because when you, again, going back to what we just said 5 minutes ago, when you get 2 likes, you're getting 10 and 12 and 20, and then all of a sudden you get 2 and you get defeated and you give up a day, or so be consistent, have a plan and be consistent.
I think my other do is put out good content. And I don't know if the microphone picked that up. Good content. Doesn't need to be great, but it can't be bad content.
So what about writing your own versus sharing someone else's then?
There's a combination. There's a mixture. If you're always pushing someone else's stuff, and it's the inspirational thing of teamwork makes the dream work. Like
the Garfield posters in first grade.
I love that. Like again, I think that's cool, but that can't be the entire content campaign that you're pushing out into LinkedIn.
So diversity is your deal. Mix it up.
Because people in LinkedIn can actually ignore you, so they won't unfriend you, but they'll hit the do not follow this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think mixing up the way you do your content's important. So you've got some sharing of some things with your comments. You've got some original things. I think something that I found some traction on, and I need to get back to is videos. Why can't you on your drive into your restaurant do a 90-second spiel on what's going on that day? Maybe you're going in and this is deep cleaning day, and it's COVID season, and this is a day where we're closing for lunch, and we're going to make sure that everything's spotless, and then see you tonight for dinner because this is the special, or whatever. You do a 90-second video.
Yeah.
That could resonate with somebody. So I think mixing it up is good too.
I like commenting on people's posts. I think that's important. So
where I was at.
Yeah. So even if you go back to my teamwork makes the dream work, if you have the teamwork makes the dream work meme and you just forward it, it doesn't really resonate. But if you comment on that and you forward and you put it in your own post, or you comment in their post and say, this is why I love my team, and this member and this member and this member are great staff members, and I want to just thank them. Those are the types of things that when you're engaging with the person who posted that meme, you're engaging with your employees and you're recognizing them. I think that's so important.
And think about the things that give you pleasure as you're using the app.
Yes.
When somebody likes it, somebody shares it, somebody comments, it makes you feel good. So do that to other people as much as you can, because you want them to have that feeling attached to you.
Just be sincere.
Yeah.
Just be sincere. Don't comment on everything.
Correct.
But if it hits you hard, make sure you let people know about it.
And I think that's such a great point, Anthony, because I know with myself, and I'm sure with other people, like when you see someone comment on your post and it's sincere, it's a real touch point.
It makes your day.
But it's a touch point. Like it's a connection. The dialogue is opened up, the conversation starts, and I think that's invaluable.
So I want to talk about hashtags real quick. Can I give my because I have I have a pet peeve, and then I have I think things that'll resonate with people and they'll understand. So a lot of people.
What is a hashtag?
So a hashtag.
Is that like a hash brown?
Yeah. So a hashtag. It's the little pound
Tic tac toe,
sign,
buddy.
Okay?
Tic tac toe.
Okay.
So this is in all social media, not just LinkedIn. But the hashtag is you got the pound sign and then a word or a phrase, and what it does is it's a collection of those words and phrases that are linked to posts. So you can go to Eat Local Ohio, let's say, because there's over the past few years there's been some traction on that, and you can see all the posts and content that have hashtag Eat Local Ohio in it. Okay. So when you're doing that, try to what I've tried to do is we have hashtag Restaurantopia, we might have hashtag Localize. Mm-hmm. Okay. Those things we tried to create a couple, but that's going to take time to get traction. People aren't searching that hashtag because it's brand new. You're trying to create that, but you also have to have a mixture of ones that are hot and that are, I don't want to say generic, but that are something that people are looking at. Local food, restaurants, business, catering, dine-in, carry out, those types of things, because those probably already have a lot of traction to them. People are searching them for whatever reason because they're interested in that topic, and they're going to see your stuff. So, have a good mixture of that. Don't, the hashtag of, I can't believe this article is so bad. Nobody's ever going to find that.
No. And what's funny is when people invent their own hashtags, on Facebook, to be funny, and they completely miss the point of a hashtag, right? And they're like, it is hashtag moms can't do this during the summer, school's too short or something. And it's okay, Mom, that's cute, but what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, I might get a chuckle when I read it, but it serves no purpose in the world of hashtagging.
And the beautiful thing, what you're talking about, is LinkedIn for me, because I'm not a great hashtagger, but LinkedIn, if you just type the pound sign, it starts generating hashtags for you. You type in the first three letters HOS, and it shows up hospitality management, hospitality leadership, hospitality business, and I'm like, thank you, I'll take them all. It's a beautiful thing, really.
That is so spot on. And it goes the same with the hashtag. I go right into tagging people and companies. I think that is important because when whether it's tagging that employee or if it's tagging that local business, is it the dry cleaner down the street that it comes to your restaurant all the time? Is it the lawyer down the street that brings clients in for lunch? Those are the type of people you can tag, and it will resonate. And again, you're getting the network effect because they have a whole separate network from you. So you're putting that out there, and if you can recognize them, and again, gratitude. We have this thing with my son this week, attitude and gratitude. If you have a good positive attitude and you can show gratitude to people, it resonates so much. Okay, and that kind of goes. Wow, I really segued that in there. Good.
I was waiting for Dave. He was all poised.
I know.
Then he froze up.
He froze up. But he doesn't know much about this one. Be positive and lift people up. Dave is constantly. He's the man of the hour when it comes to being positive and helping people get to the next level. His if you haven't heard it, check out his Game of Life podcast episode. It is amazing.
Outstanding.
So good.
No, I appreciate that, guys, and it means a lot. You guys saying that, and I know you're not doing it because we're recording. It means a lot because that's a big deal to me. And I was just, I actually just saw some content before we started recording. This guy is called Mr. Smile or something like that. I gotta get it over to you, but I don't know if you've seen this guy, but he literally did one where he did the car recording, which is near and dear to my heart.
No, that's a promo.
Right.
Is he driving?
The car seemed to be moving.
Okay,
but he wasn't
no
driving.
blinkers.
It wasn't there was no tricycle over the top. But anyhow, so he had this moment of where he was literally like teared up talking about something. It was 40 seconds. And like I listened to this and I was like getting emotional. It made me gravitate to whatever he's doing. And I'm not even sure, like I got to research him more. He's got some sort of foundation and doing stuff. But like all of a sudden I'm interested in this person because he was showing emotion. And it was cool, you know? So, but to go back to being positive, like be positive. Like if you're going to, like if your Facebook and Instagram and all those things you do personally are full of political opinions and how much the Browns are doing well.
Easy. Oh, good.
And,
Good.
you know, things like that. I wouldn't do that on LinkedIn, okay? Because first of all, like it's not going to resonate with that audience, and secondly, you don't want anything to be negative when you're representing a business. For me, my personal brand, I don't want to represent negativity. But I understand if somebody wants to use their personal social media platforms in that way. Like I'm not against it. It's just not something I do. Especially on LinkedIn, it's not going to resonate. You have to be this. It's a really positive environment that I think most people will enjoy.
It's my favorite thing about it, quite honestly. And I think I mentioned this to you guys. Is it's a quiet space I can go. It's positive. It's uplifting. The people are supportive. It's really profound how it's impacted me. I'm not even gonna lie. And thanks for the peer pressure, fellas, because I would have never got into it. But again, you see some up and coming chef and posting a picture apprehensively of some food he's working on. And then you see 56 comments about, hey, keep it up. You're doing great. Here's some light critique. If you just put your sauce this way. To see that kind of mentoring and support is really reinvigorates my I guess faith in humanity, for lack of a better term, because if I toggle over to Facebook, I lose it in 2 seconds.
And I think that goes to my don'ts, you know, and again, the other side of the coin of being positive is don't be negative. Don't ever, like there's enough negativity in the world. Like you don't need to bring it to LinkedIn. And also business is hard enough in and of itself. To the general nature of the competition in the marketplace, you don't need to be negative. You don't need to bring people down. I think that says more about you than it does about the other person. So really be positive and don't expect anything in return. I think that's another one that to me, like people, they expect like, oh, I'm going to get this sales lead. I'm going to get this out of it. I'm going to get this. Don't start it with that reason in your mind. Do it because it will help build your network. You can help people out. The side effect of having a good presence on LinkedIn will be revenue. I know in my own personal life and business life that I've gotten deals because of LinkedIn. People know who I am. It helps my network when I...
Kind of a big deal.
Definitely not a big deal. But it helps me, and it helps me connect with people.
Yeah, play the long game. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. If you could spend 5 minutes a day doing something that's going to return in 2 years, and it'll become quicker, trust me. But let's just say you spend 5 minutes a day to get something in return in 2 years that you're going to have a great relationship with a customer that is a reoccurring customer, or somebody that you know, all of a sudden you're catering a wedding for 200 people, or you know, I mean, all those different things. Play the long game, and I'm telling you, it will pay off. It will pay off.
That to me is just icing on the cake. If you get the business on the back end, fantastic. But I tell you, the outcome's great. But the process is also really good for me. Like I feel good in that space.
And think how much you spend on marketing and, you know, pay-per-click ads and you know, print ads, all the things that you spend a ton of money on and time. It takes very little time, very little energy, and you get so much back in knowledge and building your network. So I think that's really, really cool. One note I want to make, and we had a discussion with the sales team about this here at Hillcrest, and today we're in the Hillcrest studios. So I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, so gracious to let us use their amazing equipment and their amazing studio to help restaurateurs out. But don't try to be funny. I can't say that enough. You're not funny.
I'm so funny.
No, you're not. You're not funny. And
but I'm funny.
No, that's what your mom told you. You're not funny. And on LinkedIn, I've tried to be funny, and it just does not resonate. Go to TikTok, do a funny video. Go to Facebook, be funny there. Don't try to be funny on LinkedIn.
Wait, are you on TikTok?
Me?
Yeah, because I'm going to subscribe to your TikTok.
No,
You're on TikTok. Yeah.
I have a TikTok account.
I got to see this. Now, to your point, I posted a funny article the other day. I thought it was about the shirtless, like Zoom shirts, right? And this has been a conversation I've had with multiple people. Is you have that shirt hanging up that, oh shit, Zoom call, and you throw it on and you get on your Zoom call, but you wear bare feet and shorts, you know. Yeah. A whole article about that, and I thought it was so poignant and so funny, and I shared it, and I got zero response. It was kind of like just crickets. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, I should listen to Brian more often. I'm not funny. Don't try to be funny.
Again, you're probably not funny.
I'm not.
Brian, let's talk a little bit about, and this is something that I think is the start of the brand that you're going to build is what does the profile look like? Like what are some things we can give them tips to get started? Somebody, you're just logging in, you just got your account set up. What should you do with your profile?
Act like you're trying to build a profile, and instead of as just a stock image, like actually take a picture of yourself. You all have a phone in your pocket. It's really easy to do. You can get a really high quality picture, look presentable, look like the audience that you're trying to attract. You don't have to have a 3-piece suit on, but look presentable. And then you can also put a banner in the background. Maybe that's your restaurant, maybe that's a few of your restaurants. This is so easy to do, and in the show notes, if you go to our website, restauranttopia.com, you'll see there's a few tools that I use all the time. They're apps that allow you to edit pictures, crop them the right size, and they have the actual dimensions for these headers and for the pictures. So it really takes the guesswork out of it, and it's not difficult at all. You don't need Photoshop.
Yeah, and then just as important, I think once you've got the visuals of your profile down, I think you also need to spend some time on your about section. And this is something that we've talked about in past episodes, that people want to know on social media. Like they want to have a connection to you and know what you're about. So the about section is a great place to let them know how you got started, why you do what you do, why what do you want to do in the future, like how you feel about your staff, how you feel about the industry and business in general. Like your passion should come out in a few paragraphs on that about section. It shouldn't just be like, hi, I'm Steve, I own XYZ Tavern. Like, put some oomph in it.
Well, the other side of the coin is don't try to be Confucius either, right? It's like, I almost just want to see you. I want to see transparency. I want to see authenticity. I want to see that. Spew your thoughts. Don't make more of it than what it needs to be. And if you don't like it in 2 weeks, you can change it. But again, be honest, be informative, and be authentic. I think is the most important.
I think authentic is so important, and tell people where you came from, what your origin story is, maybe a little bit about that, because it is a cross between a resume and how you're presenting yourself. So really put yourself out there, but also know that the algorithm is scrubbing that content, and they're going to be searching the search terms, whether it's chef or this restaurant or this city, and those sorts of things that are going to come up when other people search. So if you're trying to be found, have a good 2-3 paragraph about me section.
Yeah, so we've got a profile set up. Now we need an audience. Okay, so we need to figure out, like, what's our target audience? Who do we want to connect with? How do we do that? Now that on LinkedIn, people actually have to accept your connection. So you're going to go in, look for people that you want to connect with, but they have to decide whether they want to be connected with. That's one thing that's a little bit different than a lot of other social media platforms where you can just follow somebody or whatever. Like you're asking for a connection, and they're accepting that connection or not.
Yeah, and you can follow famous people and get their content, but when it's the lawyer down the street, the accountant down the street that comes to your restaurant, you do want to put a request out there, and it's flattering too. It's so anytime you get a connection request.
That's a great point, because let's talk about simplistic ego stroking, because that's exactly what it is. You open it up, you see the alert, like, oh, so and so, yeah, I want to be connected with that person. Like, I've been there. It's amazing, and you couldn't be more spot on about that. Flattering is the quintessential word I would use for that.
Yeah, so I guess starting off with maybe your contacts, so you can you can allow LinkedIn to attach to your contacts in your phone or whatever it is, and it'll actually give you people that are on LinkedIn, that you can quickly, I don't know how many contacts you have in your phone, but I probably have a couple thousand. All of a sudden you got a nice list to start with.
The ability to make this move quickly is there. The contacts you will have, I think I'm still at 9 connections on Facebook. You will easily have 350 connections that are relevant to you, that are people on LinkedIn in 2 weeks. Like, it will be that quick. Once you get on LinkedIn, if you're not on already, they will push a notice out to the people that you're in their contact book. So you'll start coming up on people's radar. Again, think about how profound that is. You have a restaurant and you want to touch all these different customers. This allows you to be top of mind and be like, oh yeah, I know Anthony. He has this restaurant and he's a great chef, and we should go there.
Aw, shucks, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. But those are the types of things that it's the touch point that it may not be right in your face marketing, like, oh hey, we got specials tonight, come get them. But this is how do I connect with people and to get them into my restaurant.
Yeah, and I love on LinkedIn, the search function on LinkedIn is great. So when you're looking to connect with people, you can actually search, and it has 3 different levels of of connection. So it'll show you a first connection is somebody you're connected with on the app. Second means that somebody you're connected to is connected to that person, but you're not connected yet. And then third would be there's no connection. It means you can actually search and you can filter by those levels of connection to see, who you want to add into your network. And then if I own a restaurant in Brecksville, Ohio, let's say, I can go in. It's a beautiful town. I can go in and search Brecksville businesses or Brecksville, whatever the case may be, that the audience that you're looking for, if you're looking to do corporate catering or whatever. And then, next thing you know, everybody comes up, that either lives in Brecksville, works in Brecksville, whatever it is. And then boom, 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 you can just connect.
They call it the Paris of the Midwest. It's a beautiful city. Beautiful city.
So, answer me this. I'm seeing a lot of celebrity appeal now, and you guys know who Gary Vee is, obviously, and he's been about LinkedIn for about the last month or so. He can't shout it loud enough how amazing LinkedIn is, and I think we all drink that Kool-Aid, right? Because, again, we're all here for different reasons, but same the conversation's here. Why do we have to have an episode about this? Why isn't LinkedIn more popular? It befuddles me because I'm confused. It seemed to me as amazing opportunity. In fact, I was talking to my buddy who owns a power washing business. He's starting up. I'm like, yo, get on LinkedIn. He's like, why? I'm like, wouldn't you like to power wash parking lots of big businesses? Get on LinkedIn.
Yeah, but it's not all just big businesses. And again, I agree with your point that why don't people know about LinkedIn? And it's just maybe it's just at its infancy, and it's moving forward. And in 2 years, this will be hilarious. We had to tell people about LinkedIn.
It's just that the snowball has grown so slowly with LinkedIn.
Well, think about your journey into LinkedIn. I can explain mine. So it was probably 4 years ago. I had a friend of mine who was hyper-focused in his career and business, things like that. And he was talking about LinkedIn. He's like, I don't even do Facebook. LinkedIn's my new Facebook. That was what he told me. And I'm like, So I got an account and I started on it. And I think just maybe it was just the timing in my life. I just wasn't there to say it just seems a little stuffy. I just liked the looseness of the other platforms better at the time. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, okay, now I'm looking at, a personal brand, and we've got a podcast, and we've got business, and we've got things we want to do. And next thing you know, it's like, this is uber important, and the audience seems like it fits now.
And the content is there. I was looking for digital signage yesterday. I found 5 companies and sales reps who sell digital signage. And it's like, I reached out to each one of them. I said, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I need digital signage with a cellular connection that's not on the restaurant's network. And I'm looking at all this stuff, and it was really a one-stop shop for me to find actual people who are selling this product that I want to talk to. To me, it is so new, although it's been around a while.
So, it's been around a while.
But since Microsoft has purchased it, and it's really gaining speed as being a resource for people to gain knowledge. And that to me, that's the value add.
Oh, I love learning, so it's a gravitate towards it. Now, Dave, do you spend as much time on Facebook and Instagram as you used to now that you're on LinkedIn more?
No, I don't actually. I'm at a stage in my life where I have a focus on my career and personal brand and business, and I just feel like the time's way more better spent there. Now I do. Now some people will say this isn't the right strategy. I do recycle some of my LinkedIn content on Facebook and Instagram. There will be people that social media experts that will tell you you should do something different on the different platforms. I actually agree with that, but because it's not my main focus, I want to keep things happening on it. But
okay.
My social media activity is LinkedIn.
And where do you compare the two as far as advertising space? Because once upon a time, Facebook was the ultimate ad space, right? Then it moved to Instagram. And now how do you feel about LinkedIn? You had mentioned B2C earlier, and you think that's becoming more viable as time goes on?
Yeah, because they're all people. There's no business running an account.
No,
that's a great point. No. Yeah, no, it's end the conversation.
And also, I want to repeat this because I don't know if it resonates with people, but if you have a nice restaurant, whether it's fast casual or I'll give you 2 examples. The fast casual, we're all going back to the office now. Employers are getting lunch for the office. It's easy to get 20 covers for the office. When we're talking about having business meetings again, face to face, everyone is sick of Zoom. I mean, we're finally back in the lab here, putting down hopefully some great podcasting material for you, content. Going to lunch. And what does that look like? Making sure that people have a great spot to have a good, unique, independent restaurant experience. Those are the people that are looking for that. And no one's taking their customer to Applebee's.
So when you're connecting with people, the other good thing, like, so we're putting out content. Like I would suggest before, like when you're setting up the account, make sure that you put a strategy together and put some posts together ahead of time. Like work on, if you want to do one post a day, like get 30 posts lined up or content lined up for it, so that you're not scrambling every day, like kind of making things up on the fly. Now, once you're in it and you're consuming the content and you're potentially sharing things and engaging and things like that, you might be able to start doing that. But you need to really think about building the relationship with your connections as you're growing them. So as you're searching and you're connecting with people and you're building that, you want to build the relationships by engaging in their content and liking, sharing, and really providing great thoughts on what other people are doing. Because again, if you think about what's going to make you feel good, if you're doing that to other people, they're going to feel good about you and want to reciprocate.
And it helps you learn too, because they may have been in the game a little bit longer than you on LinkedIn. So are you liking their post? Are you commenting on their post? Are you DMing them? These are all touch points that you have with this person. That, you can go as far as, oh man, this is going to be scary, calling them on the phone and saying hello. Once you kind of build that rapport, I've had people call me after maybe being a contact on LinkedIn for 2 or 3 months, but I see their stuff come up in the feed. I like some of their stuff, they like some of my stuff, and then when they call me on the phone and say, hey Brian, I got this opportunity for you, or I want to talk about this, or can you help me with this, I feel like I know that person. I'm literally just meeting them on the phone that day, but I feel like I know who they are.
So how valuable is that in the business world, that you don't have to do that like romance period or that honeymoon period with people that get to know you phase, right? Like that could take months of lunch dates or phone calls or emails back and forth, and now you've just expedited it and compressed it into a few days, and now you're talking business and getting down to what really matters.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say you expedited it in the sense of you still have to put in the work, you have to pull the weeds, you have to do the push-ups, but you absolutely took an approach that is counter to anything that was done 5 years ago.
Yeah, love it.
Another way to build connections to add value to people is to find out what their pain point is. Find out what's really bothering people. That's what we try to do with Restaurantopia, is put out content that helps restaurateurs. We know that you're fighting against the Carrabba's and the big boys out there, the burrito place. I don't even know what they call it now. The one that made people sick. Ugh. But they have entire floors working on marketing. They have entire floors working on accounting. You're a restaurateur, you're in the trenches, and you're dealing with this on a day-to-day basis. We as a group, we want to put out content that helps you. So that's what LinkedIn, that's what we're trying to do here, is how can we help you get your message out and connect with more people who ultimately will increase the bottom line of your organization.
Yeah, and it's going to happen. Again, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but you have to have that long game mentality of going and building the network and doing, like Brian loves to say, doing the push-ups, pulling the weeds. You have to do that, and it's got to be consistent, and you should do it daily, and it shouldn't be something that's painful. You should be enjoying this and building your network. Okay,
so I made my contacts, and I'm up to 200, like Brian said I would be. I want to start posting. And Anthony is the first time he did this, it started to sweat a little bit. Like, tell us back to that. What did you think? Like, what am I going to post? What does it look like?
Yeah, it's generalized social anxiety, right? So you put it out. How's everybody going to feel about this? Am I going to look like an idiot? Am I going to look cool? Mm-hmm. And you have this whole whirlwind of bullshit thoughts circulating through your brain, typical or indicative of anxiety. It's the easiest way to explain it. It takes you a while to hit post. Once you hit post and you got some friends on there like you guys that know you're maybe a little bit behind, and they hit the first couple of likes, and then you see a couple other people, it starts feeling good. Now I don't really care about likes. It's like you said earlier. It's like if I get 1 or 2, maybe I impacted 1 or 2 people, that's all that matters. I don't think it should be measured in likes and shares. I don't think that's the most important metric there is. As time goes on, I'm getting more confidence, and I'm connecting with more people, and Snowball's getting real big now. Pretty soon it's going to have a lot of momentum, and it's going to be hard to stop.
Spot on, Anthony. I think that's what everyone feels when they first initially start that. So we want to give you the tools on how do you do that. So I want to post. Let's put some thought behind that and how to do it. Dave and I saw a presentation by a great mortgage banker in town who really is an expert, in my opinion, on LinkedIn and social media content.
And he's an expert because he's doing it. I mean, this guy didn't it's not like he went to school for how to handle LinkedIn. Like the guy figured it out because he's just aggressively going at it every single day. You know, so he talks about 2 different things you can be, and you don't have to pick one. You could be both of these things at different times depending on the content you're putting out. But you're either going to be an educator or you're going to be a storyteller. You know, so on the educator end, he talks about, you know, how are you educating people in your field so you can position yourself as the expert. You know, so if you own a restaurant, you know, how do people in your network and all your connections look at you as the expert in the restaurant industry?
And again, I keep on hitting the thing about customers, but also LinkedIn's a great place to find employees too. You want to find a great front of house manager? Well, guess what? Put out good content about front of house. Put out good content about restaurateurs. Like that front of house prospect is going to know that you care about your business and you care about your employees, and that you care about educating other people to help make the industry better.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be a part of an organization where the leader is somebody that just imparts wisdom and just, you know, wants to keep giving and isn't, you know, just spamming people's news feed with, you know, Wine Down Wednesday and Taco Tuesday and, you know.
Yeah, listen, and that stuff peppered in is fine, but man, and no offense, restaurateurs, I get it. I was in restaurants back then, and we did the same thing. Here's our lunch special today. You got to diversify it. You become stale with that whole thing, and it's so predictable and so boring and so routine. There's nothing that stands out about it anymore. It's just broadcasting. There's no engagement, right?
But there's no value given.
Not really. It's just like, hey, here's what we have. Come buy something.
Yeah.
And where's the exchange? Where's the value exchange, right?
Well, where's the give?
Yeah.
Like Gary Vee would say, is it jab, 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 right hook, or what is it?
Jab, 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 jab. 4.
There's 4.
Jab,
okay.
jab, jab,
There's
jab,
4
right.
jabs. So you got to give 4 times before you ask for the business. That's really key here. Before you do, hey, we have a good special, or we have a great conference room for your meetings. Like, you want to give, like, this is how you have a good, and we'll go into some sample content here, but.
Well, I mean, how are you talking about, how are you making people feel comfortable and that you know and run an excellent operation? Could it be imparting a little bit on how you train your staff? Could it be talking about how you clean? Right now, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Even though the restaurant industry is probably typically the cleanest and most regulated place you can be, it is safe to eat in restaurants, in case you're wondering. But right now, it's probably a good idea to really go overboard and make people feel that you're doing the right thing on that end of it, the sanitation and cleaning. I think, did you know ... So, could you have, 30 days, if you say commit, like I'm going to post twice a day, and one of those posts is going to be a did you know, and then something about your restaurant or something about the restaurant industry or something about how consumers spend their money in the restaurant. Like, it's also going to force you to become a student of your industry and business once you start doing this, because you're going to need to learn as you teach.
That's so true. You got to do a lot of research to come up with these prolific statements, right?
It doesn't have to be prolific. I mean, listen, you want to be in somebody's face every day. Not every day is going to be gold,
no.
but the consistency in them seeing you every day, that's what's going to create the raving fan.
No,
Fair.
We'll have some sample content here, but you're going through business issues yourself. Hey, does anyone have a recommendation for a CPA? Does anyone have a recommendation for a hood cleaner? Does anyone have a recommendation for what kind of cleaning product we use for the bathroom? Like, those are the sorts of things that the network is out there, and you can ask those questions. Like, think about that. To have a national, global network where you could ask a question to somebody, to a group, and actually get some responses back, and really quality answers too.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the storyteller a little bit. So this is something that I feel is super important, not only for your personal brand, but for your business. Because I think most people want to know where you started. So it goes back to, in your profile, talking about the about. Like, how do you keep imparting those little nuggets on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to let people know, like, you are a real person, you are a real business, you do employ people in the community. This is where you came from. This is why that recipe is so important to you. This is why I do it the way I do it. Like, all those things, that resonates with people more than you know.
It resonates with me so much that I am shocked sometimes on the reaction that I have. Someone will tell a heart-wrenching story that will shake me to my core, and I'm like, wow, I did not expect that. I'll say, I did not expect that. It's just, to me, it's one of those things where it's difficult. You're making yourself vulnerable, but to be able to put out a story or something that people may not just know about you is, to me, really a great thing. And it humanizes.
Yeah, and listen, everybody just went through a pandemic. So think about just explaining what you went through emotionally going through that. Think about just typing out when, Governor DeWine, if you're, we're based in Ohio, but, Governor DeWine came on Sunday at 3:30 and shut the restaurants down. Like, if you went through and talked about how that made you feel and then what happened and then all those things, and you put that together over, maybe 1 week, you just did, 7 posts just about that whole experience and what happened. Like, that's going to draw people in. They're going to want to spend money in your business. They're going to want to, help you out. They're going to want to, not a sob story, but just the reality of what you went through. Like, I think that's going to draw people in, and that's being the storyteller in your content.
I think what you're missing there, though, if you don't mind me saying so, is that you're giving. And you don't realize you're giving because you're telling a story about yourself, so it seems selfish. But in fact, you're offering that vulnerability to others to let them know that they're not alone. And sometimes that camaraderie matters. I know with my newsletter, sometimes I'll get a response back like, thank you for this because I thought I was the only one dealing with this. And you might have shed some light on that person's week. And it might be a completely unsuspecting person, and it might just be one. But it matters. And you gave to get. And I think that makes perfect sense. Love it.
So how do we post great content? Let's Brian, maybe you could walk through because I look at you as you're like, we kind of started off, if there was a race, like you and I started off maybe the first 10 yards, like neck and neck, and you've become like the LinkedIn ninja.
He's a shark.
So if you check out Brian's sites on LinkedIn, you'll see what we're talking about. But anyhow, how do we post great content and keep it consistent?
Well, I always love compliments. I mean,
Look at his smile.
I'm big fan of compliments of me. No, try to be humble. The picture of you in front of the Ferrari, probably not cool. That's no one really wants to see that. No one
Wait,
cares.
What kind of Ferrari is it?
Red one.
Oh,
Do they make different kinds?
Yeah, not so cool.
I'm not a car guy. Sorry. Don't do as Dave said earlier. I loved it. Like the Wind Down Wednesday or today's happy hour specials are like. If you make, like I saw this, it was I think from Glen Willow here in the Cleveland area. It was a lobster roll, and the chef had posted about it, and she didn't say like, "Hey, this is our special today." It was their special, but it looks so good, and I was like, I want to have a business meeting there, and just for an excuse to go eat lobster rolls. Like it looks so good. Like she did a great job of putting out a special, putting out her work, putting out the entree that she could be judged by, and it really looked good. And again, to me, especially as a business person, like I'm not going, oh, if it's $14, that seems like a good bargain. Like this isn't Facebook. I want to see a delicious meal that I can take a client to. I want to support a local restaurant. The audience is so different, and that's what you got to understand. And the other things that you can do in addition to just show things about your food. Talk about your operation. Show gratitude to your staff. Show gratitude to people who are purchasing from you, your customers. Talk about the business owner who got takeout for his entire staff. Talk about the business owner who sent a meal to someone's house because they had lost a family member or because they're working from home, or the boss who sent a bunch of meals to a charity. Those sorts of things that to me resonate.
Yeah, and I think when you do those coupled with the occasional, hey, here's what we do on Tuesday, here's what we do on Wednesday. So it's not that you don't want to do those things. It's just you don't want that to be the only thing. Mm-hmm. Because it does tend to be spammy. It does tend to be like, okay, I know it's Wind Down Wednesday and that sounds cute. Like everybody, like Taco Tuesday, like, it's okay to do that. But when somebody's already gravitated to you and when it's already grabbed your attention, because you told your story and because you got emotional with them about the pandemic maybe or whatever it was, like all of a sudden they're like, man, tacos do sound good. Rather than feeling like they're always just getting poked with a coupon or poked with a special.
Yeah, or I'm going to parlay this into your taco comment. It's Taco Tuesday. Show gratitude to your office staff. Get everyone tacos today for lunch, or send tacos to your 2 best employees, or get gift cards for your best employees for Taco Tuesday. Like again, you can parlay it into something besides saying, all right, we have 3 tacos for $8.99 special. Like
yeah, when you go back to that picture of that lobster roll, I saw what you were talking about there. And that's a great spot for like a did you know? And maybe you are, hey, did you know the average £1.25 lobster from Maine is 7 years old? Or did you know that lobster is only a northern hemisphere species? So there's a mention of lobster. There's no mention of the sandwich. It's this beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And you gave someone a fun fact, which are always great to talk around the water cooler. And I like fun facts. And you gave me some value. And now I'm drooling over your lobster sandwich. It seems much less shameless and much less selfish to me.
I like that. And I like the idea of giving them some information. So, and we have this in the show notes. 5 things to look at when picking a corporate center, or 5 things to look at when trying to find a restaurant for a business lunch. And then you can talk about your place. You can put in the information. These are what you should look for, and then here's the hook. Oh, we also have a corporate center. Here's a photo of our tables being separated, so you can have a confidential conversation. So those are the sorts of things that resonate with the people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, or how about a post like, sick of those 13-month-old gift cards expiring? Mm-hmm. Dusting them off, going to the restaurant, and they don't work. Our gift cards never expire. You know what I mean? I'm just saying something as simple as that. But it's something different. You know what I mean? You're providing a value, maybe a little chuckle.
Again, the most important thing I think here is if you don't mind, is less broadcasting, more engagement. It's got to be a two-way street. This is a highway here, and if you're just broadcasting, you don't do me any good. I'm just scrolling right by. But if you can hook me, and you can give me something, now all of a sudden I'm way more interested. It's not rocket science here,
No, talk about your staff. Talk about your chef. Talk about your, someone in your organization that has a cool story.
Oh, and by the way, those are better to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
As an operator, you labor over that grilled cheese that you're going to broadcast for lunch. Oh, come in at 11:30. Here's our grilled cheese. Yeah. You don't love that. No one loves doing that. But you have an employee that does amazing things. Yeah, everybody loves talking about that, and it's okay to put that out there. So please go for it.
So let's talk about the personal LinkedIn account versus the business LinkedIn account and how that should go. So if you're the owner, you need to set up a LinkedIn account for the restaurant, okay? But then you also need to set up for yourself personally, because on LinkedIn the personal accounts actually do better than the business accounts. And then you can actually use your personal account as you build your brand and have this content to push people to the restaurant account as kind of a landing page. It might have more information about what's going on and the different specials or whatever it is, the story and all those things. But really, I want to differentiate a little bit, have both, but really put the work and push-ups into the personal one.
I agree. The personal account is the ambassador. It's the ambassador for your personal brand, but also the ambassador for that company. All your employees are ambassadors of your company, and the posts that they publish and push out there, directly or indirectly, is going to be attached to your company.
My staff always had such a hard time understanding that. There's such a clear line of delineation, that you cannot cross. Understand that word I used earlier is a Latin legal term, respondeat superior, right? So no matter what you say, essentially the company says. And people got to understand that. It's imperative to the process.
And I think that's where a little bit of the fear comes in, not to cut you off, David, but that aspect is so much different than asking your staff to post on Facebook, because they're on their Facebook page, they got 5 inappropriate posts, 6 or 7 political ones, and then pictures of their niece and nephew. Again, no one cares about that, but they're also representing your brand. Here, hopefully you're coaching them up to be professional, to put their best foot forward. How do they want the world to perceive them and your organization?
Yeah, and if you're the owner or GM, you need to coach up. If you're the GM, you might want to coach up the owner on it, or you might want to take control of his account, or he or she, if they're not interested in doing it, you might want to create one for them and do that. And then I would have any assistant managers or bar managers, or for God's sakes, anybody in the sales end of your business, catering managers, marketing people, all that stuff need to be on here, and there needs to be a lion front on this platform, and that's going to do you much better than just a single individual trying to do all the heavy lifting.
I love all that because, again, it's fun, it's rewarding. Oh, and by the way, it could be good for your business. It's really the trifecta, man.
All great information. I think that we're really hitting some great pro tips here. If you want more information, I want you to check out restauranttopia.com. We have sample posts in there. We have post ideas, basically plug and play stuff. So if you really want to put your toe in the water and you want to try this, this will give you the ammunition to do 30 days of post or 20 posts in 60 days, whatever you feel comfortable that you want to do, that you can put this out there. You can put it on your calendar. You can say, all right, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I post at 11 o'clock. Again, you got to get in the habit of doing it. And there's easy resources out there to do it on restauranttopia.com. It's a process, it's evolving, but you will figure it out. Follow and check out other good operators. See what they're doing. Don't don't rip off their posts, but understand what they're doing. Look at the data. Look at how many likes they're getting. Look at the hashtags they're using. Look at the style that they're writing in. What is resonating with that customer? So check it out. Be a student. We're all constantly students on this, and I really appreciate everyone for joining us today, and I hope you are able to learn from LinkedIn and also give back on LinkedIn.
Best way to sum this up, I feel, is to, when you're going to do this, like, create the profile, but have a strategy. Don't come in with no strategy and try to struggle through it. Have a strategy, make your connections, have your first 30 days lined up. Really work hard in engagement and getting people connected, and have a commitment to consistency. Make sure that your post, if you're going to only go post 3 or 4 days a week, like, make sure it's 3 or 4 days a week. If you're going to commit to every day, whatever it is, I would suggest every day, because it takes 5 minutes if you have it lined up and you have your strategy done. You may spend an hour or two at the beginning of the month, but you're spending 5 minutes a day to do it. I just posted last night. I was getting into bed, went in and I hopped in bed. I did a post real quick, I scheduled it, went to sleep. It's that easy. So anything we can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to help anybody personally or any restaurant operators become better if you really want to make the commitment to this platform.
Yeah, if you're having anxiety about it like I did, I may be the one to reach out to, because I'm still dealing with this hurdle. It's incredibly relatable, but I think I may be able to help you through it. So as Dave and Brian both mentioned, please don't ever hesitate to reach out directly to us. We're accessible for a reason. We want to help.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening.
Any of those 3 jobs, I would definitely look at.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, let's wrap it up.
That's right. Oh, and whatever job you get, update your LinkedIn profile with that.
And put your profile in your signature.
Very
Which Anthony did. I was impressed. Anthony's got the LinkedIn
profile
in the
really
signature.
good.
Listen, I'm trying.
He took what we were talking about and actually executed it.
With a graphic.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't just like say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to put a link that looks like the Rosetta Stone with so many characters in it." Like, it's got a really good, nice image and link.
It was very deliberate. I'm not going to lie to you. It looks very, very simple, but I put a lot of thought into it, Brian. I appreciate you taking notice.
No, when you think no one's listening, people are listening.
Click here to blow your mind.
That's going to be in the outtakes right there. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
This is a high quality pod. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Adios.
Thank you for listening to Restaurantopia. The gratitude that we have for each and every one of you spending your precious time to listen to this podcast is immeasurable. Please make sure to tell a friend about this podcast. And also, if you have any feedback for us, visit us on restaurantopia.com and drop us a line. You can also subscribe on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. Thank you and have a great day.